to like transcend that ceiling, for me, I'm taking a step in the grad school. Not saying that that's the end all be all. It's definitely a route. There is no one route to success. You know what I'm saying? I think Jennifer Lewis said it best. The elevator to success is broken. Take the stairs. And so for me, I'm trying to like, figure out which stairs I'm trying to take though. There's B, there's C, there's D, there's E. There's like a trillion different stairs. So I'm thinking of all these different stairs, but I think the middle ground in between all of them stairs for me is to continue like doing what I need to do in order to, if nothing else, get better at auditioning, because auditioning is a muscle. There are people who are great auditioners who ain't good actors.
Yes.
There are people who are great actors who ain't good auditioners.
Yes.
So it's like all of this stuff is a part of the collective whole of doing this. So I think for me at this point, I'm trying to not only build up on knowing how to audition or learning how to audition, but also build up on even just networking myself and putting myself out there. So right now I'm trying to get more in the space of like doing voiceover for video games. I grew up on video games, so I would love to do that. I'm also trying to get in a place of finally getting a film credit, because I've done a lot of student shorts and stuff like that. But as far as like a TV credit or like film credit, I don't have that in my resume yet. So I would love to get something like that. More credits on my repertoire, even more as far as like reputable theaters and stuff like that. I would like to get those on my resume as soon as theater opens up again, because COVID ain't playing no games.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, just being a more of course being a more grounded artist, but also just like having the stuff to back that up. That's what I'm pushing towards right now.
So a lot of actors, they think that going to LA is where they're going to get their break, and get on a TV or a film. And in talking with you sometime this week, you were saying that Atlanta is pretty much the best place to, if you want to get TV and film credit. They're kind of like more lenient than they are in LA.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Listen, the only break you're gonna get in LA is a Kit Kat bar. Like, I don't know, man. Anything is possible.
It's the competition.
The established people are fighting for it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's too much competition there.
It's the Hunger Games. Like, it's too many people want it. Too many people are out there. The established are like, finagling. So I think for me, I wouldn't recommend anybody. And of course, everybody has the right to do what they want to do. I wouldn't recommend somebody going out to LA unless you know people, you got some credits behind your belt, and you got somebody interested in you out there, and not to mention a little bit of money, because it is expensive to be out there. It's expensive,
yeah, you're gonna need some money.
Yeah, you're gonna need it, and that's listen, I know people who moved there with $2 in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even me, I moved there with more than that in my pocket, and I don't know how I made it. Work for a year and a half with no oven and no parking spot. I don't know how I did it. I literally do not know how I did it. But the LA thing, because it's easy to get discouraging about. Then this isn't to discourage nobody. I just truly think I wish somebody would have really sat me down. Yo, Trev, so check this out. Before you make that transition, let's just think about this. Keep our heads in the swivel. I think that would have been something really cool. That would have been something that could have saved me some time. And saved me some hardship, because it's easy to become a bitter actor. It really is easy to become a bitter artist. When you make that transition, when you want it so bad, when you got talent, newsflash, talent is the least, I'm sorry, and that sounds nuts because you're literally an artist. That's like one of the smallest things on the spectrum of if you're making it.
Yep.
That's something that'll push you through and it'll hold you over. That's going to be the thing in the reserve tank. Absolutely. That's going to be the thing that separates you from the fakers and the real, of course. But a large part of it is who you know when it comes to getting your foot in the door. A large part of it is your perseverance. That's a large part. A large part of it is being in the right place at the time. It's so many things that have nothing to do with talent that is so important. Like, it's so pivotal and paramount to you making it. And I wish somebody would have told me that with my little student film credits and my talent that I thought I had. And I did. I'm talented. Yeah. I'm talented. I had an agent. I had an industry referral only agent, and that was cool. But the first thing they said to me is, "Who do you know?" You know. And that's when you know it's real. Like, who do you know? And also, who do you know? Like, and you let me know off rip, yo, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It may be 2 years before you get a break. And that's lucky. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
You know, I can count on one hand how many auditions I got in a year. And that's just that's how thick it is. Now, of course, everybody's story may be different. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Once again, any lightning in the bottle, that can happen. But if you don't have credits going out there, if you don't got something to hold you over, if you don't have the money to at least invest in yourself and your career, yeah. And if you ain't in the right place at the right time, I wouldn't say I would not have to go for that, just because it is so hard. And there are people who spend 10 years, 20 years out their life trying to get their foot in the game, and they didn't take the proper steps, you know?
Yeah. And then it's because some people go to LA and they're so thirsty that they don't have the moral support to keep them in the game. Like Tyler Perry, the young girl that played on Tyler Perry's sitcom, you know, what was that 3 weeks ago? She was crying about, you know, what she have to do in order to get to where she was. And so child stars really do suffer, because there are some things that they have to, you know, bow down to in order to get that recognition. You want to say something?
Yep. Me?
No, I was, you know, basically going to say you guys are absolutely right. I mean, the industry is a beast, and a lot of people don't really realize that, you know, it takes much more than talent to land, you know, the big deal. And so, you know, I applaud you for, you know, going through that, and then not giving up on your passion, and still, you know, wanting to do this. And then now you want to, you know, dig deeper and go to grad school. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, and I just want to applaud you for staying with it. But it's something that you said, though. You said, okay, so it's pretty, we see that it's pretty difficult in LA. So do you think new actors have a better chance in Atlanta?
I think startup city. I think Atlanta is a better start. I wouldn't say LA is no startup city, baby. You know what I'm saying? But I think Atlanta, that's more of a startup city, because they passing out, I hate to say they passing out co-star roles like left and right, but that's kind of the thing. I mean, a lot of LA actors have come down here. Even if it's just 5 lines or less, that's still a film or TV credit, and people will take it.
The
resume.
I
mean, it's something to add to the rest. And if I'd have had that, it'll been a different story. It'll have been a pitching point for my agent to have me. Hey, Trevor, you seen him he had a few lines in The Night Of, and you can say that. And so, it's something. That's the tricky part is, because people can fall into that, and you look up and it's 5 or 10 years later and you still doing 5 lines or less. So that's the tricky part about it. Atlanta is cool for a startup city, but make sure, just have goals. I think that's one of the greatest things I learned about in undergrad in my last semester is, like, you know, making goals for yourself is very important, and reassessing your goals and making sure, because getting some credits, that's cool, but like, okay, how long do you want to do the 5 lines for less? How long do you want to, make sure it's what you want. Make sure it's the bed that you want to lie down in. So, I mean, that's why I said, for me, that's why I kind of want to transition from Atlanta just to a certain capacity, even though it has a lot to offer. I kind of see the ceiling to a certain capacity, even though I ain't even got there yet. I ain't got 5 lines or less yet, but just knowing, at the end of the day, they still casting for film out of LA for the big parts, and they still casting out of New York for theater. That's still the narrative, that LA and New York has the greatest actors, which is not true. But that's the narrative. That's usually where the casting pool is. Alliance Theater still has like auditions in New York. I'm saying, like, and that's here in Atlanta. Like, the biggest theater companies in your city, they're casting out of New York. You know, and I think, and the same thing goes with LA. So just with that being said, it's like it's a really big. It is about talent, but also it's about what you want. I think sometimes we can get lost in that. We just want to be artists. I just want to be an artist. I don't care. You know, I think, and I know you probably didn't even ask me this, so I'm just talking too much. But like, even when it comes to agency representation, right? I had a challenge last year because I was looking for an agent. I shot my shot at a lot of agents on the Southeast, and I got some callbacks or whatever. And one agent wanted to sign me, and the way that agent basically responded the minute I asked, like, yeah, so I just want to know why you signed me, like what you think my brand is, where do you see me in the what place? Where do you see me in the market? What are your goals from having me as a talent? My job is to get you bookings. Like, she just kind of responded.
No,
She kind of felt the way the minute I got specific. And you know what I did? It just stayed right there. I'm not going to sign a contract with you for a year or 2 years. And you don't have any sense of why you want to sign me. And then your identity as an artist is very important. It's really easy because you know how many actors would have said yesterday, hey, I got an agent. Yeah, but like, you know how many actors are not getting auditions because they with an agent who don't have their vision aligned? Yeah, and that's a big. And so that's the thing. Yeah, being an artist is a very important part, but also another part of that is that business aspect. How do you want your business to be promoted? What is your brand? I didn't hear that word until my last semester of college. What's your brand? And a wardrobe lady asked me that. I'm like, brand.
Oh.
That's a very important question. What is your brand? Like, what are you selling? You have to have a selling point. Yes, you can play every character on the planet, but what is that one thing that you do so good it seems effortless? Mm-hmm. Do that. Maximize that. Get your foot in the door. Get your pinky toe in the door. Pinky toe in the door. And once you get your foot in the door, then you can do whatever you like. Then you can wiggle. Denzel played a character who was 35 years old at the age of 60. Why? Because he Denzel Washington. Mm-hmm. He built himself up to that. So I think the biggest thing about it is, I only said all that just to say identity is very important, and knowing what you want out of this game is very important. And it's something because a lot of people take advantage of people who don't have the information. A lot of people. And I think I'm blessed to have the knowledge that I have, to have not gotten into a bad deal with somebody, to have not signed a contract with somebody for a year, 2 years of my life, and they don't have my best interest or my vision aligned with theirs. Like, because you do matter and your brand does matter. And if you're somebody who has this whole, you want to play a character with poise, but all they're doing is putting you out for slave roles. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got to be able to have that conversation with your agent. Like, yo, what? Like, do you have other talent that look like me? You got to be able to ask those things. And so, yeah, I say all that just to say, yeah, our artistry is very important, but your identity as an artist is very, very important too. And making sure that your circle, that the people who say that they have your best interest, or who are literally your representation, that they're representing you correctly. So.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, so what does everyone needs a team, and everyone needs support, because there are a lot of no's before you get that one yes. That's so what does your support team look like? Like, do you have like a group of actors? Are you guys feeding off each other? What does your support group look like?
My support group, personally, they're two dudes I met in college. My best friends are my support group for the most part. Mm-hmm. My best friend, who was he was an actor in a program too, a couple of years ahead of me, and he was just somebody, my friend, and somebody I can always be like honest with, and somebody who holds me accountable. He just graduated from Columbia last year for film. So he's somebody I talk to. He's somebody who keeps my head in the game. Also another friend of mine who was a filmmaker at my school. They had a film program, and he's a director and a writer as well. He's somebody who I can just talk to just about life things and be honest and holds me accountable. And yeah, he did a commercial last year, and he wanted me to do the narration for it. I wrote the narration for it, did the narration. Now it's getting all kind of awards and stuff. So these are the people that they're my support group. They're my friends. These are the dudes who I can talk to about anything, who will have my back. And if I wrote something, like my essays for the schools that I applied to, guess what? They read them. They gave me the feedback for it. So that's my circle. These are people that literally have my best interest and who remembered who I was when I forgot who I was. Because oftentimes I forgot I was an artist. I know that sounds nuts.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It happens. Because it's hard as an artist and an entrepreneur. It's hard. It's hard.
And you get lost into so many different things,
Yeah.
So yeah.
The biggest regret I have about LA is not appreciating LA. I was so busy working to keep a roof over my head. I never lived. I never went out. Guess what? You're not gonna get discovered watching Hulu on your couch. Nah, you gotta go out. You gotta meet people. You gotta meet like-minded people, and that's how you network, and that's how you blah 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 blah. You gotta take acting class, actors. Even if you graduated with your degree, your degree cool. Guess what? You gotta know people in that city. How you gonna know people in that city if you're not taking classes? If you're not connecting with those people? Like that's literally how you get opportunities. Like Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario. Guess how he got that job doing Mario? He heard about an audition through a friend, and he crashed that Nintendo audition. He's still the voice of Mario to this day. It happened because of him hearing about it. And, so I think that is my biggest regret. Also, I'm talking about artistry, but my biggest regret about LA is not allowing myself to be a human being. And you gotta make time for that because you matter. Like you matter. Your art's cool, but you can't do your art if you don't have a sense of self. You matter. So yeah, I don't know. I'll be talking so much. I don't know if I'll be answering y'all questions.
No, you answering. Yes, I mean, self-care is very, very important, and a lot of times we forget that we got to take care of ourselves, and we're so busy and caught up in the hustle and bustle until we don't realize, that we're not taking care of ourselves, and we can't be productive if we're not A1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that, I mean, you're very, I'm so impressed with you. I'm sitting here like in awe, because I know that you're upcoming artist or upcoming actor, but your focus and your plan is so laid out. I mean, you really know what you're gonna do. You really understand the rules of the games, and you pretty much have ironed everything out. And now you just want to equip yourself with more so you can go for it. And I mean, that says a lot, for you. And I really feel like you have a bright future because you're focused and because you know what you want and you have a passion for it. And all those other things usually fall in place. So
thank you. And
Trevor.
I thank you. And it's like, and I say that because like, going back to the whole easy to become bitter thing, because I definitely left LA bitter. And it took some time, but I was able to be honest with myself. Like, you didn't apply as much as you could have. Like I was out there on the front end, but I wasn't really investing on the internal, like, I know I could have done more. And I spoke to somebody not too long ago about somebody I was in a show with, and she's so amazing, like OG. And just hearing her talk about even just being an actor for years, she was like, yeah, I wish I would have dedicated more. I wish I would have given it 100% when I know I really gave like maybe 65, 70%. I'm like, oh man, that hit me a different way. Like, so I'm at a place in my life now where I don't want to have those regrets. Because it's easy to fake it. It's easy to be like, oh, but I'm doing it. But are you really though? Like, yeah, you're doing it on the forefront. You got the mask, you're doing it, but are you really giving it all that you have? And yourself all that you have? And so with all of that being said, I'm going to move back to LA one day. I already know that. Like, I'm going back. It's just when I go back, I'm going to have I can't go back unless my career merits me going back. I'm not going back just to struggle. I'm going back to do it 100%.
You're going to be prepared.
Oh yeah, first thing I'm doing, looking for class. What class is that? Like, no, I've been humbled. Yeah, for sure. Knowing what I want, knowing my identity. If anything, I would say if you ask me something, what makes me stand out is the fact that I have a voice, the fact that no matter where I go, just because you're a teacher don't mean I won't question you. Like, no, don't let these folks tell you what your identity is. If you have something in your gut and you want to say something, speak up about it. And I guess who the teachers want to be in their class the most? Me, because I have a voice and because we're all trying to figure this thing out. Nobody knows. Right. I wrote this whole book. And guess what? In the second book, she said, hey, yo, everything I wrote in that first book, forget that. This is like, it's an ongoing thing. You're not going to master it until the day you die. So be humble enough to know that, this mark of mastery exam is everlasting. I think James Earl Jones still learning stuff. Cicely Tyson, they're still learning stuff. Like, it's forever because it's a human experience. So just like, I enjoy the journey to anybody, whether you're successful, whether you're not, enjoy the journey.
Absolutely. And on that note, guys, we're going to take a break and we're going to come right back with the ending and close. We're going to come right back with the closing remarks from Trevor. Okay. In a minute. All right. All right, we need to do two things. We're getting ready to close it out, but we need to ask, we definitely need to get this at the beginning of the show. They had some noise in it. So we need to ask you two questions of what we've already asked you before. And that's, how did you get started? And what is your process when you're applying for roles? And then we'll come back and say, what is your advice to aspiring actors? And then where can we find you?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Nicole, you want to bring us in?
Yeah. So, am I bringing in to close it out?
How did he get started acting? We got to ask those two questions up top because of the noise. The frequency wasn't good. Want to make sure it's clean in the beginning. So it's, how did he get started with acting?
Yeah. So we're doing it over like in the beginning, basically.
No. Okay. We're just gonna go straight into the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, until those questions, then we started having that noise. So let's just get those two, and then we drop down to ending the.
How did he get started? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Welcome back, Galaxy listeners. We have Mr. Trevor Butler with us. And Trevor, I just want to ask you this question. I want to know, how did you get started in acting?
Interesting, right? I got started with I was actually part of an abstinence club, and I was a poet in the group, and I had just hair, and I would like I was a go-to poet guy when we had this like performing arts thing for this like competition throughout the state. And I got up and I did my thing, and we didn't win. We went against a performing arts school, and you know, even though we lost, that performing arts school just welcomed me. They was like, yo, man, like, dude, you killed that poem. I'm like, word, for real? Yo, do that poem again. Like, I do it around them and everything. And just, I felt like I belonged for the first time in my life. And I just wanted that feeling again. So I was like, you know, are there because I never knew there were performing arts schools before. That was just a whole new world to me. Like, I'm like watching Aladdin or something on a magic carpet. But, so I asked my sister, I'm like, yo, are there performing arts colleges? And she said, yeah, you know, like Juilliard. What's a Juilliard? And so I look up Juilliard, and it has 3 divisions. It has dance, it has music, and it has drama. And I'm already taking acting at that point. So I'm like, okay, if this is what I have to do, of being around that environment and around these people that made me feel so welcome and so loved again, all right, I'm an actor. And so that was just the starting point for it all.
Okay, so you went from stage actor to film actor.
Yeah. Basically, like, see, it's so funny because I didn't know what theater was. So I was like 18. So I grew up on film, and that was cool. And like, I learned about stage through that, and also through the August Wilson monologue competition. Like, I competed in that, and I didn't do that great, but just to be a part of that, and just to do that, and to learn who this amazing pioneer of plays was, like August Wilson, this man who just Shakespeare. He's our Shakespeare. Of the Black experience, just all these different plays in every decade of the 20th century, just what he stood for, and just these beautiful works of art. Just to be a part of that was just dope. So no, I went from that, went to school in Pittsburgh for it. And yeah, I definitely got my appreciation of film because they had a film department there as well. And my best friend was somebody who was in the film department. So like most freshmen, they was just chilling or whatever. No, I was in like 8 short films my first semester. Like, my first year. Like, it was nuts. I was getting it. You know what I'm saying? I was that go-to guy for film. You know what I'm saying? So I never played with that game. By the time I graduated college, I had a reel together because of all the work I'd done. So yeah, no, that's how I got into film. But yeah, there's still such a love for theater. Theater is there's nothing like it. It's like film, you can cut, but no theater, if you forget a line, you know what I'm saying? You gotta work that out, baby. You cooking. So, yeah, no, it's definitely a love for both.
So every actor has a certain way they get into, preparing for a role. So what is your process? I mean, do you shut down everything? You turn off your phone? What do you do? What is your process?
Oh man, for me, I just like to look into I don't know. For me, I like to look into the character and like, okay, how can I make this character live? I think that's been the one thing for me that I feel like has made me, just my process is just making sure somebody is authentic, you know, to make it real. That's really has been my whole philosophy. Most people have a whole beautiful philosophy. Mine has just been make it real. Just make it authentic, make it believable. So me, I'm always trying to see how can I make this character believable? And another part for me is also like, how can I make this character different from anybody else who tries to do it? You know,
Oh wow.
What's the straight way to do it? And then what's the sideways way to do it? What can I do with this? What tweak can I give it? You know, what's that brown sugar I can put in to give it a little, you know what I'm saying?
Joan spin on it.
Yeah, I'm saying that like grandma and them guy. How can I grandma this character out? How can I make this character stand on his own and be something distinct from everybody else? And that carries over with me to this day. Like even when I do voiceover auditions, how can I make this different? You know? Yeah. That's just usually how I come at it.
Okay, and then, is there any writing in your future?
Right? Yeah, I do think so. I really do. Okay. I sometimes forget that because I took a playwriting class in college, and I took a screenwriting class in college as well. And it wasn't until actually applying for grad school recently, oh wow, I can write a little bit, can't I? Like, because I was different with mine. They asked for essays, and I wrote for both of these two different schools. I wrote one as a play, and I wrote one as a screenplay. So I do think there's writing in my future. Absolutely, I absolutely have like ideas in my head of certain stories I want to make. I just wonder what that means for me as well. I wonder if that's just going to be writing, or I wonder if that's because I'm so like particular with my stuff. Like, you know, with writing, you gotta. If you just writing, you got to give up your baby to somebody else to direct it. So I don't know if I just want to give people my baby. Like, I don't know. So I might need to learn how to direct as well. And that's a whole nother, I would never make directing a small thing. I know too many people who do it, who like, I have such an appreciation for directing, and I can't even imagine directing a set. But
yeah, when it comes to your baby, yeah, you do it.
My baby raised right. Yeah. You gotta raise my baby right. Nuh-uh.
That's right. That's right.
So
most screenwriters, they, you know, even in their first go around, they want to direct their own. They, you know, like Regina King with One Night in Miami. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
One Night in Miami.
No.
This was her directorial debut, and she did an awesome job. It was quite interesting. It was a slow movie, but it was good. It was really good.
That's awesome.
Yes, yeah, she did a great job. So I don't know if she's into writing, but she's definitely into directing. So I guess she skipped the writing process and just skipped on over and just.
That's amazing. Listen, like there's definitely a gift to it, and there's a skill and there's a talent to it, and you know, no, I think I do see writing in my future, definitely, maybe even directing, just because of how particular I am and just how much I want stories to be just different and distinct and real and just true. Like my favorite artists of all time have that. I think they have that like-minded quality. That's the commonality. All the art that I love is like it's boundary pushing and it's risk taking and it's authentic and it's just true. And I think sometimes we can get lost in making art or making it Hollywood. We can sometimes make things plastic, when I think that's the antithesis of art. The what makes art amazing is something that's relatable to people. So I mean, I want to make relatable and bold and interesting art like me, because I'm a character myself. So like I gotta make characters. I gotta make shows.
Amen.
Wow, Trevor. So where can we find you?
You can find me at Trevor W. Butler on Instagram.com. So Trevor W. Butler.
Okay, before you go ahead, Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole,
is that the only social media? Is that the only social media platform that you're on?
So Trevor W. Butler, and I'm on Clubhouse, but I don't. Let me double, triple check, make sure what my Clubhouse username is for people, so people can add me on there as well. Yeah, Trevor Butler, just Trevor Butler. So TrevorButler.
All right. And before we let you go, do you have before we let you go, do you have any advice for aspiring actors?
Stay the course. It will, you're gonna get disappointed. I remember, it's a friend of mine. We were in acting class together, and he got some TV credits. And he made a whole post talking about, like, and he had a good year. He was on a couple of different shows. He was on Atlanta. He was on I think it's called the Haunted Hill House show. I forgot the name of it, on Netflix. Mm-hmm. He was on a couple of great shows one year. And he said, yo, if you would have told me it would take me 3 years to get on another TV show, I would have looked at you like you were crazy. But, between working in this restaurant and between doing these other gigs like Uber Eats and so on and so forth, like time flies by. It's a very, what have you done for me lately business. It can be discouraging. It can make you bitter. It can make you thinking that that you deserve this, that. Unfortunately, this game don't owe you anything. And you give it your all. And it may seem like it's unfair, but it's literally your love. And if it's your love, make that love shine through even in the darkest days. That same teacher that me and that guy had, she was asking him, what? Tell him about the rejection. Tell him about the rejection. It's like, but that's like, come on, like, it's not about that. For me, when I do voiceover auditions, I think the coolest thing about it is like, it started off as like words on the page, but by the end of it, I made it into something. Mm-hmm. And whether they even listen to it, and in voiceover, it's really cutthroat. If they listen to more than 10 seconds, you're blessed. So it's like, they can't take that away from me. And that's what I would say to people. No matter what, your contribution and your love for this art and what you mean, they can't take that away from you. I mean, the universe, God, Allah, whatever you want to call it, like that, it made you into something special. There will only ever be one you, ever. Notice that, cherish that, appreciate that person, because you matter and you have value. And that not only transcends you being a person, but also as an artist, and vice versa. Let those things steer you through it. And there's nothing this game can take from you. Only you can take that from you. So, and you owe it to yourself to make sure that you give it your all and you're happy in what you do, because you deserve that.
Yes, sir. Okay.
That's some good advice. Stay the course. I mean, because doors are going to be shut in your face. You're not always going to get the part,
mm-hmm.
but you got to keep going. You got to keep growing in your field and studying and researching and, perfecting mm-hmm. your craft. And I think that's the most important thing, is don't give up. So yeah, great advice.
I mean,
well, on that note, well, listening audience, it has been a show. It's been a show today. We want to thank you, Trevor, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Us on today. Thank you, Nicole J. As always.
Always pleasure.
Hey, if this is your first time listening to us, make sure you go check out our website, brilliantwomeninfilm.com, and get some information. Check out and see what we are doing. But this day has been a blessed day, and we hope that you guys will inspire. We hope that you will never give up, because Trevor has just blessed us with testimony after testimony after testimony, and he still keeps going. And so we're excited about that, guys. So we will see you later. You enjoy your day and have a great time. We'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, that's it. Great show, great show. Thank you, Trevor. Let me put my phone back on so I can see this thing. Oh, that was an awesome show. That was an awesome
show. Very informative.
Very
wow, he got a lot of information.
Thank you.
Yeah, you blessed some people today. You blessed some people today.
Okay.
even if it's just the motivation part, of you telling them, hey, look at me. I'm still in it. I'm going through it. But guess what? I have a passion for what I do, and I'm gonna keep doing it. Yeah. And if they have the same passion, then they'll have that same drive. Right. And so, but it's just important for other actors to be able to hear, it's not always green on the
other side.
Mm-hmm.
And,
not.
You got to go through some things. And then for you to encourage them to go to school and study and really try to, find out what door that you're going to go through, that's important too. Know what it is that you really want to do. And then what is that path to do it?
And you told
wow,
from the beginning to the end, you kind of shared with them, you know, I was here and I'm here. I'm still going. And then I'm going to back to school. And then in my future, I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be directing and all of that. So we won't, thank you so much for your time. I'm getting around. I'm trying to send this.
Thank you.
No, you good.
I
Like,
appreciate you.
I just know I can talk. So I'm like, I just hope I made sense because I can talk forever.
Oh,
about
you
this
made plenty of sense. You made plenty of sense. It was really refreshing.
And this is why I was telling her, you know, I was telling her about you, and I said, you know, he's so encouraging, and he needs to be on the show because what we've been doing this for you. We celebrate 1 year, and Trevor Butler,
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's what we have on the show. We have people that's going somewhere, that's come from somewhere, and trying to inspire, uplift, and whatever we talk about faith, family, and film. So whatever comes up, that's what we talk about. So whatever you said, it was all in the same. No word is lost. You know, you said there's no word that fall to the ground. Every word was everything was on point. And thank you. Appreciate you. All right, so you'll be showing not this week, but next 2 weeks. We're gonna send out a flyer to you, and then we'll send out the link to you, and we'll let you know. Let me tell you the date.
Okay.
So that way, did you get it, Trevor? See if you while I'm on the phone with you. So it's not. Let me see. This week, right? The 23rd. It's the 13th. No, the 6th. No. Yeah, it's the 6th.
The 6th.
Yeah, because we going in the studio tomorrow, right?
Saturday.
Yeah, and then we skip the 30th, and then it's February the 6th.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, I got to get in my pen.
I'm so excited about this show.
I know. You know what we normally do? Check it again, Trevor. We normally do a last year we did an analog competition. No, monologue competition.
Monologue.
The prize is what, $250?
$250.
Wow.
$250, and they sent in their monologues. And we had a great time. And this year we're doing something else, so we'll definitely let you know so you can go and get on in that competition.
Okay, you talking about like acting, or you talking about writing?
Acting, but it's for actors.
Wow.
It's for actors. Yeah. Okay. And then if you have any films that you were in, we're getting ready to open up our film festival. So you might want to, but you got to have a woman in a keen position. You got to be like director, the writer, something like that.
Okay.
Main actor, producer. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Trevor, and we'll talk to you soon.
We'll do. Thank you. I'm always here. If y'all.
Huh? What'd you say, Nicole?
And I was to check out our website because we do have a lot of things that are coming up. Where as far as casting, and if you're available, I mean, you would come to Houston. I mean, we definitely would love to
right there in Atlanta. Yeah, we're in Atlanta. Okay.
Okay.
Credits.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
We'll talk to you.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll do, and I'm always here if y'all ever need somebody else to just, talk.
Yes, sir. We family now.
We family now.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Thank you. Y'all stay amazing, okay?
Bye-bye. Let's see. And okay.
Wow. He was very interesting.
You want to go on Facebook and wish everybody out MLK? You got something to say? Because I know you're political like that. You look so pretty. We can just go on there real quick.
A lot. Go ahead. MLK. Yeah. What we going to say? Ooh, MLK.
No, I'm going back on you. I didn't say anything, but I was saying we go back to clear it up because it didn't. I started the recording late.
So you didn't get none of that other stuff?
That's why I told him to go back and do them other two. What you call them? That's why I told him go back and do them.
Oh my God! And that one was so much better. That first one was so much better. Oh my God!
Yeah. No. Hopefully it recorded on Zoom.
But he kind of. Huh? Yeah, he kind of came back and said the same thing.
Well, hopefully recorded on Zoom because I did check where's that Zoom to record all of the the tapings, the recordings. But I didn't want to tell him.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell him that. you know. So yeah. So
Right.
stopping by, meet us on Saturday. We'll be in the studio on Saturday. How about that?
Oh, that's what we going on Facebook saying?
Martin Luther King, you know, wishing everybody, you know, a good day. The dream, keep the dream alive. Don't, you know, don't give up on your dream. This day is to remember, is a reminder of what King stood for. And don't forget to check us out on Saturday. We'll be in the studio, so come join us, call in or whatever have you. I know you're saying, Joan, I don't feel like doing that.
Go ahead, girl. You know you
Come on. Because we have
you know you want to do it, girl.
we about to introduce you. We about to introduce you again to Facebook because you haven't been on in a minute.
Oh Lord. Yeah. That part.
Wow. Let me see. Did I start recording? Let me